Hi, I'm Manjusha Shelke. I am a senior principal scientist in CSIR-National Chemical Laboratory in Pune. I have been doing research in materials chemistry since more than a decade and a half. And I was actually born in a small town called Nanded. It's in the southeastern part of Maharashtra. It is a place situated in the banks of River Godavari, a very beautiful small town. And when I was young, like I had a family, big family. I'm the youngest among five siblings. I have two elder sisters and two elder brothers. And when I was young, I really love reading and noticing that my father used to bring several books of famous authors for me. So even though I was born and brought up in a small remote area of Marathwada region of Maharashtra, my understanding about the world or it was quite mature because I read a lot, and my father really encouraged that. If you say me or ask me who influenced me a lot during my growing years, then I would say it's my father, because he was a well traveled and well read man, and he inculcated this hunger for knowledge or hunger for reading in me. He was very particular about the education of females or education of girls, and even their financial independence. So he was particular that along with our brothers, me and my sister should also get proper education. And that's why, even though he had large farmlands, he migrated to Nanded, a place where we had our school education and college education. During, as I said, during my growing up years, I used to read a lot, and along with that, in my school also, my teachers used to tell us about the stories about the scientists like Professor Jayant Narikar or Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. So these stories really encourage me. So at my time, most of the students, those who are like say toppers, they used to prefer to go to either engineering or to medicine, because it's kind of a prestige issue to pursue medicine or engineering. But even my elder siblings have also pursued medicine and engineering, but I had a very deep interest in science and how the things around us work, and I was very curious about all those things. So I decided to pursue science, even though I could have got admission to engineering or medicine probably. But then I decided to pursue graduation in science. So the chemistry department in our college in Nanded was one of the best and renowned for some of the greatest chemistry teachers of that time. So that encouraged me to choose chemistry as my major subject. And then I picked up interest in chemistry because teachers were really good. And then eventually I topped the university with gold medal. So that motivated me to pursue masters in chemistry also. And then I pursued my masters in chemistry from the same department, Yeshwan College in Nanded. And then again, I have topped the university, Marathwada University, for my masters and awarded with the gold medal. So this is about my education. Yeah, so my parents had a huge influence on me. My father was a non-believer, but my mom was very religious. So I have grown up in this kind of atmosphere. So even though they had different kind of ideologies or thinking or thought process, they really respected each other, and the kind of compatibility that I have seen that they shared, that had made me understand that you can have difference of opinion with the people around you, whether in a professional or in a personal space, but still you can be respectful to each other, and you can build a relationship based, even though you had those kind of differences. So I think they have shaped my personality in a way that I am more resilient about, and I'm more adaptive, or I'm more acceptance is there, I guess. So this is how they have influenced me. And my elder siblings, they were, all of them were like uh, intelligent and in school and colleges. So I used to listen from my teachers that your brother was so intelligent, so you should study, your sister was so intelligent, so you should study, kind of stuff. So I had a lot of role models as well during my growing up years, to do something, to, as I say, that do something in life, so that your teachers will be proud of you, or your parents will be, your siblings will be proud of you. So I would say that the kind of family environment that I have grown up has a biggest influence on me even today. that has shaped my personality a lot. And then I got married after my masters and moved to Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh after my marriage, because my husband was a faculty in physics department of Bhopal University. So that is where I have then started pursuing my PhD in CSR lab in Bhopal. It is called as CSR Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute, CSR AMPRI, but that time it was used to call as Regional Research Laboratory, RRL. So I started pursuing PhD over there, and then I really picked up interest in research. My supervisor was super awesome, Dr. Sunil Kumar Sanghi. He was intelligent, dynamic, and very polite person. So I guess it's in the way your supervisor treats you, you also tend to treat your students. So I feel that I was really lucky to have such a supervisor, PhD supervisor, and probably that reflects how I treat my own students as well. So the way I have been treated my supervisor, he was equally concerned about his students career as much as he would be concerned for his own career. So he's the one who has pushed me a lot. And then I was doing research on detection of carcinogenic aromatic amines inside microfabricated devices, electrochemical detection methods I have developed during my PhD. So when I was pursuing my PhD itself, I had given an interview in CSIR-National Chemical Laboratory in Pune. It was for a scientist position. So again, on insistence of my PhD supervisor, I appeared for the interview. I was not really sure because I was still pursuing PhD and my husband was in Bhopal, so I was not really keen to come to Pune. But my supervisor was like, "You will get an experience of how to face the interviews in the institutes like CSIR-NCL, which is one of the best chemistry institute in the country." So then, because of his insistence, I appeared for the interview and I got selected in CSIR-NCL as a scientist. Then I was in a dilemma actually, because I had, by that time I had my child as well. He was 2 year old. During my PhD itself, I have become a mom. So I was not really sure that whether I should come to Pune because my husband is there and I am having a small kid. But then again, my parents told me that, and my guide also, he also convinced my husband that this is the best place, that she is. It's not that straightforward to get selected in the NCL. So let her go and let her see, if she couldn't cope, then she always have a place to come back to. So then my parents also said that we'll take care of your child at least till he starts going to school, and whatever decision you take after going there, if you decide to pursue your career in NCL, then we'll see that we'll be there for him. So don't worry, you go. So then I have decided, it was kind of adventure for me to come and stay here in Pune and then join the job. And then my mom also initially started staying with me for my son. My mother-in-law also used to come, and like they used to come and exchange with each other. Like sometimes my mom would be there, sometimes my mother-in-law would be there, like that. But after joining NCL, my experience as a faculty was not like I dreamt of. As soon and then I realized that probably being researcher and doing research without worrying about from where you are going to get funds for this research, and then you have to publish papers and all this, is not there. When I was doing PhD, I was happy in discovering something new and I was getting everything in the lab. So but when you become a faculty, you had a lot of added responsibilities, right? And in addition to that, many organizations in India have horrible hierarchy issues, regional biases, and bureaucratic hurdles. So I had to acclimatize with all these varying factors. And in this process, so I had started to find my way through all this. I was really young because I was in the final year of my PhD when I joined NCL. So I started interacting with some senior colleagues like Dr. Vijay Mohanan and Dr. is Mullah, who were into experimental research. And then I have also received a fast track research grant from Department of Science and Technology, my first project I have got. And then by that time I had also submitted my thesis. I got my PhD degree. And then in 2007 I was selected for a postdoctoral fellowship by Embassy of France in India. to conduct research in a French institute. So I went there for 6 months. It was a CNRS lab, Institute of Electronic, Microelectronic and Nanotechnology. It is called IEMN in Lille, France. So Lille is in the north of France. So that was my first long stay abroad, that too alone, because I went alone for 6 months over there. But my host, Professor Abba Bukherab, he was really welcoming and accommodating. He made me really comfortable over there, and it was really wonderful experience. I have worked over there mostly on material science or materials chemistry aspect, and that has given certain shape or certain direction to my research, what I had decided to pursue for my career in NCL. That was concretized during that postdoctoral experience, I would say. And my postdoc supervisor, Professor Rabba, he has become a constant support in my professional journey, and we are still having active collaboration. My students also worked in his lab under Raman Chapak Indo French Fellowship. So we are still publishing papers together, and he writes me everywhere. Like if you apply for fellowships and all, you need LOR. So my French supervisor still writes LORs for me. So I would say that he is one of the biggest support for me in my professional journey. And then I came back to NCL and I started working in materials chemistry. And then I have built my own independent group. I have started taking PhD students and started building my lab slowly. And in 2013, again, I was selected for Indo-US Science and Technology Forum's visiting fellowship to USA. So at that time, I visited Rice University in Houston. Professor Ajay, he is one of the renowned material scientists. So I joined his group. He was my host for Indo-US fellowship. So Professor Ajay's group was also working on energy storage materials. He was handling projects with industries from USA who are working who were part of energy consortia over there. So during this visit, I was exposed to global developments on materials for energy storage. Then um, Professor Ajay's group was also really, I got a good exposure about the things that are happening in energy storage as well as materials chemistry. So after a year of visiting fellowship, I came back to NCL and then I started focusing on energy storage, specifically rechargeable batteries and supercapacitors, the electrode materials development, electrode materials development for supercapacitors and batteries, and a lot of new electrodes we have developed, electrode materials we have developed through materials chemistry, new composites we have synthesized for lithium ion batteries to improve their performance. So during my visit in to USA, I got more exposure about materials chemistry, electrode materials, and energy storage devices. What is happening in this particular research area worldwide. So when I came back then to NCL, and then I have started building core expertise in energy storage, rechargeable batteries, and supercapacitors. We have developed several high energy materials based on different battery chemistries for lithium ion batteries, and then we also started working on beyond lithium ion technologies, considering the need of our country to have more sustainable materials that are available indigenously in our country, because the energy storage sector is entirely dominated by China, right from the resources or raw materials that are required for lithium ion batteries, whether it is lithium, cobalt, nickel. All those raw material resources are dominated by China and other countries. We don't have these resources in our country, at least for now. So I started working on technologies like sodium ion battery and lithium sulfur batteries, where at least partially for sodium ion batteries we can have raw materials within our country. For lithium sulfur, at least sulfur is easily available in our country. So this kind of direction I have given to my research, where I had tried to develop energy storage systems which can make our country self sufficient for our energy storage requirements. And during this, of course, I have to acknowledge the contribution of my students. Without them, I couldn't have done this. And several students along these years have joined for their PhD and contributed as well as benefited by the co-learning and co-research module in my group, and they become significant part of my scientific life, and I really take personal pride in their achievements. So, apart from this, there were certain senior colleagues and collaborators. I would take few names who are really important in my professional journey. Dr. Anil Kumar, Dr. BLV Prasad, and Dr. BB Kale, who supported in some or the other way in my professional journey. NCL leadership has also been encouraging and motivating. NCL directors like Dr. Shivram or Professor Nangia or Dr. Ashish Lele, they have been very supportive and very motivating. So I am glad that my efforts towards this Make in India clean energy storage are recognized by Science and Engineering Board of Department of Science and Technology. And in 2021, I was selected for Sub Power Fellowship. So this Sir Power Fellowship was formulated for promoting opportunities for women in exploratory research. It is formulated by CRB to recognize the and reward outstanding women researchers and innovators working in Indian academic institutions and R&D laboratories. You know, so that was kind of motivation that your efforts are recognized by your country, and then I have that has motivated me to take this research from lab to market, because even though we do a lot of academic development, we synthesize a lot of electron materials with very high efficiency and develop energy storage systems, but to bring them into market. At that time, India didn't have any cell to cell manufacturing or solutions for batteries in India, specifically for lithium ion batteries. So being a part of CSIR's nationwide program TAPSON that was designed to develop indigenous lithium ion battery. Even though CSIR Sikri was nodal lab, I was also part of that program. So during that program, I have established battery fabrication facility in my lab, and then the solutions that we have developed for beyond lithium ion chemistries like sodium ion battery or lithium sulfur battery, I have decided to take those solutions from lab to market. I had already had some IP portfolio around these solutions. I had filed some patents, and there was a know-how, and we have demonstrated proof of concept already. So then CSIR has this unique scientist entrepreneurship scheme. So in that under that scheme, we can take our research from lab to market. We can incorporate our own startup and try to market the solutions that are developed in our lab. So under that, I have developed this. I have incorporated this startup, Rechargian Energy. But I am holding this job in NCL and then again handling startup. It's not that straightforward to do both the things. So I would really appreciate my husband, who not only encouraged me to have my own career ambitions, he has given me wings. And when I wanted somebody to work full time for my startup, he quit his job in Bhopal University and came to Pune, and he joined the startup full time. And he's taking care of the startup. Even though tech development part I have looked after, there are a lot of things that startup needs full time attention, a lot of financial compliances, and then you need to raise funding and then investors and all those things he is managing. And that is why my startup is doing really good. Within 2 years of incorporation, we are now in the pilot stage, and we have raised enough grant to have our own pilot to fabricate sodium ion pouch cells, the commercial prototype, and we can manufacture those cells in a small quantity. So we have been establishing our pilot very soon. So, so this is a kind of very fulfilling to see that your research that you have been carrying out since decades is going to be in the market eventually, and then it would be some useful solution, and you can see there is a social impact of the research that you are doing. It's not only about publications. Of course, publications are important to build that expertise, to understand in depth about the systems that you are working on. So fundamental research is extremely important for that. But then this, when you see that this fundamental research you could successfully apply for providing some solution, and that solution is coming in the market, so I say that that was really fulfilling. So last 2 years I am extremely in extremely happy space when it comes to my career, since when I have incorporated my startup. Even my students are also encouraged because of all these things, and their way of doing research has also been now modified. They understand what is required for industry and what is required for society, and they are not really obsessed about publications. Of course, publications, as I say, are important, but they also try to provide real solutions in their thesis. So their thesis is always planned around having equal amount of publications and patents, and in the end some device demonstration. So that's really important because of this kind of atmosphere that we have in NCL. We have venture center in our neighbor, so all this kind of atmosphere has helped me to be what I am today. And of course, NCL has been an important part of this. And then, last year I was selected for this Fulbright Nehru Academic and Professional Excellence Fellowship, and I spent 9 months in Purdue University. And we have done a Guinness World Record over there to charge and discharge a lithium ion battery at lowest temperature, minus 100 degrees Celsius. So these kind of challenges now I guess I can take with the kind of facility that I had established in the lab, and the kind of know-how that we have generated. So some really extraordinary challenging problems that we are working right now in battery chemistries. And I am a mid-career scientist with really well established research group, so I'm looking forward to influence or to use my position to bring as many as female students in STEAM, and that is evident from the number of female students that are working in my lab under my supervision for their PhD. But it's not that I don't discriminate among my boys and my girls, but I guess because of my own experience, I have become a mom when I was doing PhD. So I know how important it is to have a work-life balance, and how important it is to have your happiness while doing your PhD. You need to be happy because you have a small kid at home when you go back home. You cannot go back home taking some kind of stress, and so that can affect your child. So I believe that I understand that state of mind of my own students also, because many of my girls, they got married when they were doing PhD, and then they have kids. So I keep realistic expectations from them. I try to understand, and I don't have really strict rules about how much time you should be in the lab, because it's not only me; it's their own career also. So they are also equally concerned about their career. So you need not to pressurize them, and when you try to make them happy and try to keep them happy, I see that productivity is more, instead of trying to force your own timelines on them. Yeah, definitely. We had such kind of discussions in the family because I was the youngest, so everybody wanted me to have a proper, well informed decision when I was going to pursue a career. It's like my brother who pursued engineering. He did not want me to do engineering because he felt that he felt that probably engineering is kind of he thought that it's not solution provider, or engineering doesn't bring out new kind of know-how. It's already some solutions are there and you work around that. Maybe because that time we all were young, and that opinion was also not very well mature. But same thing, my another brother and sister, they were doctors, so they did not want me to be doctor. In such big families, nobody really enthusiastic what you want to do. They would tell you what you should not do. But I used to listen to them, and then I knew that since school time that I want to pursue science. I did not know what I am going to do with science, but I was really intrigued by the universe around us. I used to collect, lot of stones, and some of them were found to be the fossils. My science teacher told me that these are fossils. I did not know. I just liked the design on that stone, and I used to collect them. And once my teacher found all those in my bag, and he told me that these are fossils. That is how I come to know that what does it mean by fossil, and how the world has been created, how things get fossilized. So that was so exciting and amazing. So I knew that I wanted to pursue science. I did not know that there is this kind of profession where you can do research all your life. I did not know how scientist was a term for me. Those who do research, those are scientists. I did not know there is a job like scientist. So that's what I always listen to my heart. I did not bother about what are societal norms of intelligence or societal expectations from you, that if you are a topper you should be a doctor or engineer, kind of things. I really, and my parents were also, probably because I was youngest, they didn't bother me that you do this and do that. Only they used to give suggestions, but they didn't stop me from pursuing what I wanted to pursue. I would have, if I would have not gone in science, probably I would have pursued art, painting. I really loved paintings. I used to do paintings. Especially I like my biology practicals a lot, because you need to do a lot of drawings in your project books. So I really loved doing that. But as I said, I was in Nanded. I really don't know how to make a career in arts or in painting. I did not know at that time. So science was the, I had access to science because of the kind of family I was in. So that's why I decided to pursue science. And chemistry, because I felt that chemistry is everywhere. In everything that we do, there is a chemistry. It is a basic building blocks of lives are based on chemistry. So I was really intrigued by that. That's why I pursued chemistry. Yeah, so the milestones, I guess, while talking itself, I have mentioned them. The first milestone was when I got selected in NCL. It was unexpected, because when I came for interview, I did not expect that I'll get selected. I was probably, that was the reason my interview was very good, because I had zero expectations. As my guide said, that you just go and get an experience of how to face an interview. So, at the end, I mean, interview went very well, because it was very relevant to what I was doing in my PhD. So technically, there was not a problem. But at the end of interview, the committee, it was strictly main. So they asked me that, because my son was with me when I came for interview. He was playing outside. So they asked me that, you have a small kid and your husband works in Bhopal. So how you are going to manage if you get a job in NCL? So I felt that, I don't know, probably for that reason they may not hire me. But I told them that I have thought about it before applying for the position. So it's my problem how to handle that. So that kind of answer I gave. So I did not expect that I will be selected. But probably because of this honest answer, they selected me. So this was first milestone, I would say. And second milestone was my French postdoc experience, first postdoc experience. That had changed my worldview, the way I looked around. It's not only scientific, of course, working in an interdisciplinary area with the people from different cultures, that has changed a lot scientifically as well. But personally also, the kind of cultural experience I went through over there, that has made me understand that no matter what kind of culture, what kind of country we are in, or the way we have been born and brought up, we all are same at the core. We are very human, because I made a lot of French friends over there, and in the end I felt that our emotions are same. We are same as a human being, even though our way of life is different. So this has changed me a lot, I guess. That was second milestone. Of course, third milestone was when I went to US again. There is a huge difference between Europe and US. You know, Europe is laid back. I really loved my experience in Europe, but US is very good for work. The kind of cutting edge science that is being done in US, it's extraordinary experience, and that has built a really strong foundation for what I have done later in my professional career. That are the initial milestones that has established me as a scientist, I would say. Build confidence of people around me that I can do these things. And eventually then, when I was I would say that, of course, there were small milestones in between as well, but the biggest milestone was incorporation of my startup. That has changed a lot. That has changed the way I used to look at research also, and I really thoroughly enjoying this process of seeing the commercialization of the research that I am doing. So I would say these are the biggest milestones in my professional career. Yeah, so my work scientifically, if I say the work on rechargeable batteries addresses several sustainable development goals, climate action, then innovation, and then smart cities or electric mobility. It addresses several SDGs challenges. We really are looking forward, not only Indian government, entire world is pushing towards electric mobility, right? But then the batteries that are required for electric mobility, lithium ion battery, at least current contemporary electric mobility or electric vehicles are based on lithium ion batteries, and there are limited resources for lithium, cobalt, nickel, the kind of raw materials that are required. A lot of mining is done to extract these raw materials. There are worst human rights violations in cobalt mines in Congo, because small kids are being used to mine the cobalt, and all these kind of things are there. So the beyond lithium ion technologies that are developed by my research group, sodium ion battery, it is based on mostly on surface elements, and sodium is everywhere. That can bring I would say energy security, not only in India. I have been to US. I was part of one of the startup program in United States, and same for UK. I had one founder from UK. So all of them are worried about energy security because of these raw material supply chain issues, and the kind of, I would say, materials geopolitics. So this is going to have a lot of impact if sodium ion batteries can eventually become as normal as lithium ion batteries in India. Yeah, of course, personal and professional both. The challenging phase was for me when I have given birth to my son, when I was doing my PhD itself, because till then I was a free bird. I did not have any responsibility on me. I could spend as much as time in lab, but once my son was born, it was really emotional trauma for me to leave him at home and go to office, and he used to cry. So at certain point I have decided to quit my PhD because I was not being able to take it. I did not want to keep him in daycare. So that time, at that point, my family really supported me, my husband and my parents and my in-laws also. They told me that probably he need you now, but if you quit your what you wanted to do in life, you quit that, after certain years he may not need you, and at that time you will regret. So you have support system. It's not that you are alone, so we are ready to support you, so continue. So that's when my mother came and stayed with me, and even on and off my in-laws also used to come and stay with me. Even some of our friends, my siblings, everybody used to come when I need to travel to take care of my child. So that is how then I continued, so that was the challenging phase. Initially I was in a dilemma whether I should continue or not, but I continued, and I'm thankful to my family that I continued. After that, when I joined NCL, as I said in the starting, that it's not easy to be faculty in Indian academia. There are a lot of challenges, especially when I would not want to play this women card, Supreet. It's not that everybody is biased towards you because you are woman, but still, this gender bias is there. It's so inherent that people don't even know that they are biasing towards you. I mean, just because you are a woman, they also don't know, but they do that. So these kind of things are there. So I experience gender bias when I wanted lab space and all these things. But along with that, I had really amazing colleagues, female colleagues also, who supported me in this journey. So when I joined NCL, there was this kind of slight gender bias that I would say I had faced for getting lab space, for getting things done, and then even after that, also there are a lot of hierarchy and regional biases in Indian academia. So facing that, because I did not have any godfather, I did not have any mentor who is sitting at a high position and speaking for me. So kind of that was, I would say, initial period in NCL was struggling, but eventually I made my way, and I was supported by my male colleagues also. I would not say that everybody is. Yeah. Yeah. So lesson learned is that I would say that first thing is that, because being a woman, it's you have responsibility of your family also. No matter what you say, I saw that in Europe, I saw that in US also, that even working women, everybody has more responsibility of family than their partner. I'm fortunate enough to have a partner who equally shared that responsibility, but still, even we ourselves are also prone to take more responsibility of family. If we don't take that, we feel guilty, right? So I would say that to myself, or even to my female colleagues, I tell them that don't feel guilty to ask your husband or to any other people in the family to do the things in home, and you need not to stretch yourself beyond your capacities just to keep everybody happy. I would not say to create any friction in the family, because if you want to work, if you want to have ambition, you need to choose your fights wisely, right? You cannot fight for each and every small things. You have to choose your battles wisely. So if you have a big battles at workplace, then try to keep maintain peace at home. But I was fortunate, I would say, that my husband didn't mind. As I said, he quit his job was also government, he was faculty in university. He quit and came and joined my startup. But I see this among, like, even my students and their families. So that is one thing, that don't hesitate to share the responsibility, or ask the people in family to share the responsibility. Take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health as well. I didn't take care of my physical health, I regret that. I used to stretch myself a lot physically, I would say. So that is one thing. And then don't get disappointed by failures, perseverance, or if people are not acknowledging your work. It's okay if you feel that somebody is getting more importance than you, despite of doing equally good work. If you feel bad about that, that's fine, absolutely fine. But don't stay in that state for a long period, because then you will not be able to focus on what you really wanted to do. So do focus, and success is the best revenge or best answer, I would say. And that is how I have built my career, Supreet. I never, even though I felt discriminated at some point, I did not made a big issue out of that. I made it my displeasure known to the people who I felt were discriminating against me, but I did not make really big issues out of that, which can be blown out of proportion, and I could not be focused on my research. So I did kind of diplomatically managed those situations. So I would say the same things to the kind of advice to my students as well, female students, that choose your battles wisely. Again, it's objective, success and failure. Different people can have different concepts about success and failure. For me, success is the recognition. Recognition, I would not say awards and or whatever things. Recognition in terms of the students, because students are your biggest workforce. So I see when my students they are doing they are getting very good fellowships. Like some of my students got Humboldt fellowship, some of them got this Raman Charpak Indo-French fellowship, then RMIT and ACSR joint PhD fellowship. They are doing really well. Now they are being hired in companies like Ola Electric or Reliance Energy, and those who are working on. So my students are kind of hot takes in many startups, also battery startups. So I see that as a success because I am their mentor, and their success is a parameter for my own success, is my idea of success. So I feel successful in that way. Failure was, initially when I was building my group, I felt that I am not being able to, I'm not getting the things that I should get at my stage, just because there was no confidence among about a female scientist. Even among the funding agencies also. When you submit a proposal to funding agencies, there is a tendency of us. I mean, people used to ask me in the expert committee, with whom you work, who is your reporting officer. I was independent, I did not have reporting officer, but that was not fathomable to the funding agency review experts, mostly all the oldies sitting there. They would ask me, with whom you are working. When I used to say I am not working for any other scientist, I have my own group, then they won't have the confidence that I can deliver the things that I am proposing. So these are the challenges, and this was the failure I felt, which eventually I conquered. I don't think that now anybody would question that whether I can deliver or not. So that is success, I guess. I would tell them to be kind on themselves, and make sure that work-life balance is important, but your financial independence is extremely important. So don't give up your career for any XYZ thing. You can conquer that, and you can build your career despite of. You need not to compromise on anything in your life to build a career. You need not to compromise on your family for a career, or you need not to compromise on your career for the sake of family. You can manage that. There is a supporting system, you just have to identify that. Like, probably I would be really happy to support my students, female students, even though I'm equally proud of my male student, my boys. But I give this kind of support to my students, where they can they have flexible timings and flexible and realistic expectations about the PhD work as well. Yeah. So for sustainable life, I use this mantra: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So reduce the usage of high energy, appliances or whatever. See, we live in Pune. We cannot exclude everything from our life. We still need things that are energy consuming, but I try to keep their usage as minimum as possible. For example, I do have air conditioner in my home as well as my office, but I keep it off all the time. Only probably in May for a few days I keep my air conditioner on, or when I'm having visitors. If somebody is visiting me, then I keep my air conditioner on. I am a ardent lover of gardening. I really love doing gardening. So even though I live in apartment, third floor apartment, my home and every nook and corner of my home is full of plants. So I encourage. And seeing my home, I saw that many of my friends, they started planting in their homes, and everybody is like, oh, it looks so beautiful. So plant, I mean, I would say that plant as many as tree as much as possible wherever it is possible for you. When I go to my hometown, I visit my farmlands. Particularly, I make efforts to plant at least one tree every year when I go to my hometown. But despite of that, even my apartment, if you come to Pune, you are most welcome to come to my home, and you will see that how many plants I have planted in my small balcony. That is one thing. Then also, I am really looking forward for Pune metro to be operational as early as possible, so that I need not to take car to office. I am going to travel by metro. So if there is a public transport which is safer and clean and suitable for you, then I would say that you should prefer the public transport instead of taking car just for one person. And of course, moving towards electric mobility, I have not dumped my car yet, because again we need not to. If it is in working condition, why, as I said, reduce, reuse and recycle. So once, maybe probably after a year, I may switch to electric mobility for our outdoor travels. But I'm really looking forward for Pune Metro to be operational, and it is on the route of my home and my office. And as I said, that recycle everything, whether it's batteries or plastic. Try to recycle, separate out your waste. Weight waste and the recyclable waste, and these are kind of habits you can inculcate in yourself, and then it's not that difficult. So I would say that I would want to, you mean professionally, right? Yeah, so the legacy of doing research, which is really keeping society or human beings in your mind, not your own personal. So Indian science is behind there is so much population, there is so many people in science in India, but still we are behind a lot of countries, in science index. So it is because our research system is very person centric. People do research for getting awards, for getting positions, so that means making more publications, and then high impact publications, and this number H index, and I don't know what kind of all those things. uh, but I think the legacy that I'm leaving behind through my students and through my research group is, of course, you need to disseminate your knowledge, you need to publish your knowledge, but the purpose of publication should be dissemination of knowledge, not building your personal benchmarks and not seeking awards and all. If you keep that as a focus, then you will not be honest in your research. That is the thing that I have inculcated in my students. So that is why I could take my research from lab to market also, because the intention should be that we are being paid such a huge salaries, there was a lot of funding on our research, all this is taxpayers money. So this taxpayers money should be used, or we should be able to give this investment in return of ROI should be there for the society which is investing in our careers or in our research. So that kind of legacy, I would say that I would leave behind, that do research which can give the society back what society has given to you, or more than that. I would say to become less restless, don't be anxious, and your time will come. Even if right now people may not have confidence in what you are doing, eventually they will. So that's the advice I would give. So my students energize me, I would say, every morning when I wake up and I come to lab, I see those all young, enthusiastic, very fresh people. Like their minds are bubbling with ideas, and those all young energy that encourages me to go through my day very happily. So my lab, my research, and my students, they energize me. For myself, because now my son is abroad, he's doing his undergrad, so I have ample time. So I do listen music. I really love listening music. I have stopped painting because I don't get time, but I do reading. I like reading also. So I do reading. I read novels once in a while, some good, yeah. And then I do yoga religiously every day, because I found that that is really for your both whole well-being, mental or physical. Yoga is something really a blessing, so I do all these things, not much, but these things I do. Yeah, I do have, I would say, as I said, accept the failures and persevere. Perseverance and resilience is what is my life mantra, I would say. That has, when many people they give up when they go through, in everybody's career trajectory, you encounter the valley of death. You When we start From when we start our career, initially we are very optimistic and enthusiastic, but then we go down in the valley of death where we feel that nothing is working out for us. It takes a lot of energy to cross that valley of death and come above the curve and move towards success. So crossing that valley of death requires a lot of resilience. You need to keep your own trust in your abilities. So that is really important, I would say. Then only you can cross that curve and then come towards success. So yeah, resilience, I would say. uh, I listen all kind of music. There is no particular song that probably I would listen if I feel depressed. Probably talking to my husband is my stress busting thing, because he has uncanny ability to normalize any difficult situation. So I would not talk to anybody else. I would talk to him. I would tell anything under the sun. If I'm having problem with anything, if I talk to him, he would make it like everything is so simple, so normal. So if I used to tell him the things at NCL, he would tell me, you are so fortunate that you are working in Pune and an institute like NCL. I would say quote is, my WhatsApp status is, the girls with dreams become women with vision. So I would say that dream. I am a dreamer. I dream. Even I do daydreaming also sometimes. So that's my quote. It's my status also, that the girls with dreams become women with vision. Yeah, I wanted to do professional painting. As I said, I wanted to learn it professionally. I would not say I wanted to do it professionally, but I wanted to learn. I wanted to take professional training for painting and the intricacies or the science behind painting. But I couldn't do that because I pursued science, and my profession keeps me so busy that I couldn't pursue the my passion for painting. And also I used to sing I mean, it's not like professional singers, but when I was in college I used to sing, but I couldn't pursue that also. So some sort of art I feel that I wanted to pursue, which I couldn't do. uh, there are many turning points, but the thing that had changed my life was when I shifted from Bhopal to Pune. I mean, I was, after my marriage, as I said, I was with my husband in Bhopal. And then when I came to Pune for my job, because my elder siblings, they lived in hostel for their education, but I was always with my parents. I have done all my education in Nanded. I never went out of town. It's after my marriage, for the first time I left my family and went to different state. So coming from there and staying alone in Pune was a big life changing experience. I was so dependent on my husband for small small things, but doing everything on my own has changed me a lot drastically. After that I was non-stoppable, but then I went abroad. Many times I lived abroad alone. I have navigated through many difficult situations. But when I came to Pune, I was really dumb. I did not know even how to do the bank kind of formalities, going to bank and how to fill the checkbook and all. So living alone in Pune, even though my mom was there, but all these things I used to do. I was the as I say, home. The I used to manage the home, so that was the responsibility that had changed me a lot.